Oh, gnarly, dude. Looks like you just went overboard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Overboard. I'm your host, Jenny.
And I'm Anthony.
And it has been a week. Let me tell you, I don't know what it was like there in Michigan, Anthony, but here it was insane. So I'm in Texas right now, for those of you who might be new and don't know that. And we just had a snowstorm here, I guess. And it's obviously nothing compared to what we have in Michigan, but the difference is that here in Texas, they don't have the infrastructure up to date for like snowstorms
to handle
like
snow.
winter.
Like I don't even think you guys have like salt.
They don't have salt. They have sand, which I don't really know if sand does the same thing, or I think it's just mainly for traction probably, but
I think so, yeah.
I don't know if they have plows. I didn't see any when we had the snowstorm out, so I don't think they have any plows here, but it's just crazy. And they don't have what do they call that on the pipes? Insulation
Insulation.
Yeah, on the pipe system. So then literally in the apartment buildings that we had, that we live in right now.
The pipes froze too?
Yeah, a bunch of them burst. And we got lucky because our apartment didn't have it, no pipes burst. But a bunch of the buildings around us had to get evacuated because pipes were bursting.
Oh my
and
God.
Are still evacuated right now. And then the power was on and off from Valentine's Day night, so Sunday, until Wednesday morning for us. I think there's still some places that might be dealing with power outages right now, but it was just on and off every 5 hours. So anyhow, because of this, we, as being from Michigan, when power goes out, all the hotels are open because they have generators. So we figured, we'll get a hotel, they have generators, we'll be fine. So we booked this hotel Monday morning, and get there, the power's on, so we don't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden the power turns off. We realize they don't have generators here at any of the hotels near here, and so the power, we just spent the night in the hotel with the power going on and off. It was definitely still warmer than being in the house because we're on the bottom floor here and we were on the top floor, or not the top floor, the second or third floor at the hotel. So it was warmer because heat rises, And yeah, but it was just crazy because we're used to it from Michigan, but seeing everybody else, people trying to drive in it, and the amount of accidents that there is here because they don't know how to drive in it, and then nobody's dressed for it, nobody has jackets for this type of weather, so it's just it's insane. Really, really crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it's in Texas they drive fast just like we do in Michigan.
Yeah, maybe even faster.
Yeah, I would say just like in Michigan, speed limit is also an option in Texas. And so I can just imagine, I heard there was 100-car pileup on the Dallas highway, on the outskirts.
Yeah, it was on they call them overflies here, which is
instead of an overpass.
The high ones. I think the regular what do you want to, height ones are still called overpasses, but the high ones,
yeah,
because if you're from Texas or ever been to Texas, the highways are they have some overpasses that are really
massive,
freaking high in the air,
tall,
riding a roller coaster.
There's 5 of them that overlap, and it's just massive.
Yeah. It's a big nope for me. Height's not my thing, so
I saw these videos everybody was posting, with Texans in their first snow or whatever, and saying they were captioned Texans don't know how to act, and they're literally in their subdivisions pulling each other, Jeeps or trucks are pulling people on cardboard boxes and using whatever they can to sled. People were using trash can covers to sled and all that.
Yeah, no, the kids,
do they even sell sleds down there?
Probably not. The kids, that live above us. There's some kids that live up there, and they were outside in the snow using a cardboard box as a shovel.
Oh, I'm
dead. They don't have shovels, and it was just so funny. And they had like socks on their hands because they don't have gloves.
Instead of gloves. What? Yeah. Can you? I mean, you have to be able to buy that kind of stuff down there, right?
Oh, I'm sure you can, but like it doesn't happen. Have
just like a small selection.
Well, no, I'm sure you can, but like, why would you? If you're from here, why would you want to go? It doesn't happen often enough for you to go buy it. So like, I'm sure there are places that you can get them, but it's like, why would you if this is just gonna happen once, you know? But
that's too funny.
Yeah, so it was crazy. And then like the fire alarms in these freaking apartments kept going off. So on Sunday, the night before we went to the hotel, at 6:00 in the morning, a fire alarm went off for an hour and a half throughout the whole building, and it rings in the freaking house too. So it was like,
it's loud, yeah. Because I remember when you guys first moved in, it went off that one time, and it was literally like, it doesn't matter if it's like only in one person's apartment that the fire alarm's going off. It's going off everywhere, and it's also in the hallways, and it's like super loud.
Yeah, but because all the pipes were bursting and stuff, so there was like, this building's went off, and then the building next to us went off, and so there were like fire trucks coming in and out because, you know, they have to clear the building to make sure that there's like not an actual fire before they can turn it off. So yeah, it went on for probably an hour and a half, and then it happened again the next day. Did everybody have to stand
outside in the snow?
No, not until like the fire department comes, and then if they find something, then you have to leave.
Oh, then you gotta. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but most of the time, well, at least, you know, knock on wood, so far they've all been false alarms. So yeah, but it was just a week, and there was just like, obviously a lot of people mad. And so I think that leads us into our topic for today, which is how to be kind in times of stress and like conflict, and also just how to be like a good person and a good friend. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I was kind of appalled too, because I saw a lot of people on social media trying to turn this whole situation in Texas into a, you know, like a he said, she said, like blame game. And I'm just like, you can't blame anybody for a natural disaster. I mean,
yeah. And it's not like this is normal weather for here. Like, no, if it had happened before, maybe it would be something they could fix. But like, it's not normal weather for here to have. Like, if we had a freaking like a hurricane in Michigan, I know that's not gonna happen, but like
we wouldn't be prepared, wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't blame anybody for that, right? And I'm just like, we're
not in a hurricane region, you know, so like, why would we? I don't know.
Yeah, like I saw people, they were trying to blame like the Green New Deal or whatever for what happened in Texas, which doesn't make any sense because Texas literally controls its own power grid, which is not like anywhere in the rest of the United States. You know, like the rest of the United States has its own power grid. They do their own. Texas does their completely own thing. Has nothing to do with the Green New Deal. And then I saw people like blaming like the governor of Texas, and I'm like, I guess he's got the power to control the weather, right? But I'm just like, I don't understand where that like anger and like why people were trying to make conflict out of it, right? Like,
yeah. Or like, I know from being from like, you know, the Midwest, like we have snow and stuff, and so like when we come to these places and see these people like acting a fool, like not knowing what to do, we're like, oh my gosh, they're so dumb. But it's like, they're not dumb, they just don't experience this like kind of weather, you know?
Right. Like everybody handles situations differently too, like depending on where you are in the world, how you were brought up, what your personal philosophy is on life. Yeah. You know, like nobody thinks the same for the most part. You know, there's very big deviations. And I think, you know, to be kind and to show kindness, you do have to like take a step back and
try to see things from other people's point of view, and also know that like just because you don't agree with somebody else, they have a different way of thinking and processing things. So like you're not always going to see eye to eye with people, and you're not always going to, you know, I don't know, you're just never going to be like everybody goes through something different in their life. And something that I like think about all the time is like, even with like our closest family, closest friends, we don't know all of what is going on in their life, you know? And so like when somebody is doing something that's, you know, maybe they're angry or frustrated, and like just know that it's probably like, no, it's not probably. It's definitely, it has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
Themselves.
You know, I've read too, like most people that have conflict or create conflict or you know, project their negativity onto others.
Yeah.
You know, some people take it personally, but I read like usually when people are acting out like that, it's because they are having trouble coming to terms with something in their own life.
Yeah, something
Or
internal.
there's something in internal stressor. And that kind of like goes, you know, we gotta, I think one of the big parts of like trying to be kind is trying to be patient, right? Like trying to be patient and to, I don't know, like actually listen to what a person is saying. You know, it's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying like if somebody's yelling at you, right, and like treating you like dirt, like that you need to accommodate them. I'm not saying that at all, because nobody should treat you like that. But I guess this is one of those things that helps you not lose your cool, right?
Yeah. Being patient, really listening to every word that's being said, and then also just like knowing that you don't have to prove a point to anybody, and nobody else has to see something from your point of view. Like you might see something some way, and that's great, like cool, but like not everybody has to agree with you. And also like you should be okay knowing that like what you believe in or whatever you think your opinion is like your own, you know? You don't need
Yeah.
somebody else to verify or
Validate, right?
validate. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Validate what you're feeling or what your opinion is, you know? So like being confident in your own thoughts, I guess, kind of.
And that's also, you know, like that goes two ways too. It's like you got to be comfortable with your own thoughts, but you also can't be, so you have to be receptive. Like you can't just be, you know, a my way or the highway kind of person, right? Like compromise is the only reason, and working together is the only reason human civilization has thrived, you know, since its inception, right? Like we wouldn't be
Yeah.
where we are today without finding ways to work together. So what are some things that help you take a step back and like be kind? You
What I
know,
do when I
especially
get
when you're not
frustrated,
feeling
yeah,
it.
like if you're in a bad mood or you're frustrated or maybe you're not feeling good and people are like getting on your nerves and agitating you, it's like the best to like take a deep breath, maybe do some breathing exercises if you need to, or you are in an environment that you are able to, like separate yourself, like go to a different place on your own and just sit there, go through your own thoughts, your own feelings. Like, why do you have those feelings? Why are you having those thoughts? Does it have anything to do with that person themselves, or does it have something to do with like something, like again, if you're not feeling good, maybe you're sick, like are you being annoyed because you're sick, or are you being annoyed because this person is, you know, doing something that's annoying you? which most of the time it's something internal that's causing you to be annoyed, not the actual person that you're annoyed by, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Yeah. I definitely, so I'm one of those people where unfortunately it's really, really hard to make, well, I guess not unfortunately, fortunately, it's really hard to make me mad. Unless you're Jenny,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say.
unless you're Jenny or my mom,
But I
they are
think
the
that goes
only.
both ways with all siblings. It's like we know how
Yeah,
to pick on each other, like right in the right place to like get each other.
it it's just like, yeah, it's they my mom and Jenny are the only two people who can make me go from 0 to 100 in
Real quick.
point 0.5 seconds. All it takes is one word, and I will be fuming mad. But
Yeah, but I
otherwise, I
think in
don't
general,
really.
like all of us are like with other people, we don't get very annoyed. You have to do something really, really like
Yeah, that's what I'm. So like, it's really hard for me to get mad, and that's kind of like one of the things that I've always had to keep in the back of my mind, right? Um,
mm-hmm.
when people would say things that I didn't like or insult me, is, like, at the end of the day, what impact do they really have on my life, right?
Yeah,
Like,
none.
if it's just some random person you'll probably never see again, or even in high school, dealing with a lot of the racism and, like, hate and bullying that I faced in school, like,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things that got me through it. I was like, yeah, I mean, these people really don't know any better. They are fine and happy being ignorant, but also, what value are they going to have in my life in the future, right? Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to see any of these people ever again. Or the amount of time I have to spend with them is so minuscule. Why would I get mad? You know?
Yeah. And one of my favorite like quotes is like people are going to hate on you whether you're doing something you love or you're doing
Right.
something you hate, or like whether you're being yourself or you're being somebody else, like you're going to get hate either way. So like might as well just do your thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Like, everybody, like, I feel like people are like little batteries, right? Like, and, s- it's the same thing. Like, we repel each other, and some people attract each other, and it's just like the natural way. With that being said, you should never try or go out of your way, right, to be the repellent force, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't.
Elaborate.
Well, not. Yeah, I mean, regardless of what you like, even if you don't like a person, right? Like, even if I don't like a person,
Mm-hmm.
if I have to work together with them, I'm gonna treat them the best I can.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Because I understand that, I can't make them happy, but it's when I was actually listening to like a radio show the other day, and this person said something really cool. Like, it said, "Don't let other people bring you." I think it was actually a Bible verse too, and I'm upset I didn't catch which one it was, but it
Yeah.
said, "Don't let other people bring you into their chaos.
Yeah.
Bring them into your peace if you
Yeah.
can." Right? And that really like stuck with me, because it goes back to what you're saying. Like, if you know and understand that you can't please everybody and you can't make everybody happy, at least operate from your like operate with yourself from a place of peace, a place of happiness. So if you're happy, like, if you're happy and stuff, don't let anybody kill your vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, maybe like your mood, if you show them kindness, right, maybe
Yeah.
your mood might change their mood into a better one, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fighting fire with fire does just creates a bigger fire. So
Well, and I guess that goes to say, like, another quote I have, is from Saint Francis of Assisi. This is actually one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about it a lot in my day-to-day interactions, but it's what it says is like, let me sow love where there is none, and let me sow light where there's darkness. And it kind what it kind of means is from the point of view is, like, we should seek, if there's darkness and negativity in somebody's life, you don't want to add to that.
Yeah.
You should see, if you can, right? If you can do anything, you should seek to create a light for them, in a space. Like, if there's a space with no love and it's just negativity and hate, if you can bring love to that, and so what it says, sow, the word means to, like sowing seeds in the ground where you're planting
Yeah.
seeds. That's all it means, right? So you don't even have to make a huge impact, but at least if you just like give somebody a little smile, right? Like, you never know, that could change something, and their brain might respond to it and pick it up later in the day when they're feeling at a really low point, like at their worst. So, I just try to, like, that's one of my biggest things with being kind is, even if I can't be overly kind, overly happy, I at least don't want to bring darkness or negativity to another person's life.
Yeah.
And I think that's easy to do. Some people might not agree with me, but
No, I think so. Yeah. And then like something I personally have started doing recently, like in the past year, is like I can't remember, I read a book or something and it said like never make assumptions about anything.
yeah.
And I feel like that's helped me so much. And like when people say something that's like a little snippy or mean or something, I'm like, I can't make an assumption as to why they had that reaction to me. Like I
Hmm.
can't, or basically the book was talking about how making assumptions like 99% of the time just causes problems. So like if you make an assumption that somebody's mad at you and they are not mad at you and then you go and tell them, then it creates this whole conflict because they're like, I'm not mad at you, why would you think I'm mad at you, blah blah blah, and then you got that whole conversation when you could have just plain out asked them like, hey,
Did I do
what's up,
something to upset you?
or
Yeah.
like what's up, like, how are you feeling or something. And so that entire time you were so anxious about whether or not they were mad at you, and the entire time maybe they were just, I don't know, going through something in their own home or whatever. Or like with social media, how so many people make assumptions based off what other people put on their social media, like, oh, they're rich, or they're always happy, or they go on all these vacations, they have a ton of money, or they live the best life. Like, you don't know that. That's what they posted online. Like, you have absolutely no idea what's going on in their personal life or behind the screen. And people tend to only post things that are good online because
Well,
that's
exactly.
what you
That's
want to see,
exactly the point, right? Like, most people only post the happy things in their life,
Yeah.
right? And then the people who post the negative things in their life, you don't really follow those people.
Yeah.
Um, so you're not seeing the other side, right? So, no, I
So it's
totally
just,
agree with that.
yeah, it's just about like not making assumptions or forming opinions without just like ask a question. If you don't make an assumption, ask a question. And it was in the book, it was talking about how um, we were taught, like, as a society, to not ask questions because it's considered rude sometimes, like, to pry into people's personal information or what, like, personal thoughts and stuff. But in reality, so many conflicts could be avoided if you just asked a question rather than, making an opinion or an assumption on something.
Oh, totally. Well,
And
and
yeah, and just,
oh,
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say, and we do that thing. Like, I don't know if you've done it, right? But like, where we start assuming maybe we had like a little spat with somebody, right, earlier in the day, and then you like sit there and dwell on that and start making all these assumptions, thinking all these things, and all of a sudden you're having this imaginary fight with this person in your head that
doesn't even exist. Yeah.
Doesn't even exist. And you cause yourself so much stress. And it also causes you to act hostile, right?
Yeah.
To them, right? It changes your belief when you make an assumption. That in a way affects your belief. You know, an assumption in a way, when you internalize it that becomes a belief. And if we know anything about our beliefs turn into behaviors and drive a lot of people's behaviors. So, you know, when you have that imaginary fight in your head, think like that is changing your behavior on how you're going to treat another person. You're going to be mean to them, you know, especially if in your head you won the fight, or you just stress yourself out, right? And it also just, you know, you might not even treat that one person you're having this imaginary fight with in your head. You might mistreat those around you because you're just so stressed out about it, right? You're just feeling angsty and angry, and you want to like, I don't know, you want to pop off on somebody.
Yeah, and people will say, like, this kind of goes back to in the beginning when we were talking about how people, like, what people say has nothing to do with you yourself. Like, if somebody said something negative about you or to you, it never has anything to do with you. It's like one of those things when you think about it, like, people only say bad things when they're in a bad place, and they only say good things when they're in a good place, you know? So just keep that in mind, that like if somebody said something that like is out of the ordinary, or you just don't know why they're saying it, can't justify it, just know that like they're in a bad point in their life or a bad day, or, you know, and they're going to praise you on the days that they're having a good day and they're happy, you know? So feelings have everything to do with it. But like, again, it's just being like very, I guess, secure in yourself almost, to know that, to just believe in yourself and not need anybody else to validate you, not need anybody else to build you up, and not take comments personally.
Definitely. And if, you know, this is actually a really cool thing I learned from reading, and I can't remember what book it was, but it was actually like an anxiety reducing tool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like when you get stuck in your head with that like internal monologue, not everybody has an internal monologue, by the way. That's
an anxiety thing.
It's an anxiety thing. Not everybody has an internal monologue.
Yeah.
But you know, the practice was to, when you notice you're getting anxious and you start saying these bad things or having these negative thoughts, you consciously say to yourself, and you either say it out loud or you say it in your head. You say, I notice that I'm starting to feel this way.
Right.
Right. So like, so, you know, if I do find that somebody makes me angry, that's not you or mom. Right. What I do is I actually took that practice, and I say, I notice that I'm getting angry.
Mm-hmm.
And that almost, it takes you out of the space. It almost like, it's weird. Like, it sounds like really weird, but like it like takes you from like you like sitting and living in that anger, right? To almost like a window outside where you're looking at it. And then it gives you the opportunity to consciously be like, well, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be angry. Why would I?
Yeah.
You know, so then you start thinking about all the other reasons why you shouldn't be mad. And it's a really, really, really cool practice that anybody can use if you guys want it. Like you just, whenever you get like that, get in a certain space, somebody says something that angers you and you about to pop off on them, hit them with the back of your hand or something. You just say, I'm getting angry. I know, you say, I notice I'm getting angry. Yeah, because the noticing part is what removes you from that state of being. It's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then just like, let's just talk about like how you can be a good friend, not just like a good person in the world, but a good friend. Like, what's something that you would do to be a good friend, Anthony?
Well, I mean, if I notice my friends are like feeling like a certain type of way, like, so like I'm a big person and I recognize people's patterns really easily. But like if I start noticing that my friends are kind of like acting, like sad or depressed, or
Yeah.
I know I can kind of tell when you can tell when something's troubling somebody. So
Right.
I let them know that I'm there,
Yeah.
like I'll just say, hey, like if you need to talk, like talk to me, like I'll listen to whatever you have to say. One other thing I do is I will always try to gas my friends up.
Yep. We talked
You
about
gotta gas
this in
them
one of
up.
our podcasts. You got to
Yeah.
gas them out.
You gotta gas them up. You gotta gas your friends up. You gotta like get them hype for themselves, because it's hard. It's hard. People get down on themselves really easy. I know I do. And when you have somebody else, you get all embarrassed, but you can't tell me you don't crack a smile when somebody's gassing you up, like getting you
Yeah.
hyped about yourself, and pray. Don't give people too much praise, but like when you gas it up and you make it over the top and you give that energy, you transfer it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things.
Yeah. So like you said, checking in, but like also just whenever you think about somebody, send them a text. Just be like, hey,
That's a good one.
what's
Yeah.
up? Or like, hey, think I had a thought about you today. Thought I'd check in and say hi. Or like, I don't know. I feel like there's this big like thing where it's like nowadays where people are afraid or have this weird thing about texting people out of the blue. And it's like, no, do it. Like if there's somebody you're thinking about, just go ahead and text them or call them, or I don't know, send them something in the mail if you want to do it.
Right.
Like I send my friends postcards sometimes from here. Just be like, hey, like thought about you, picked up this postcard, decided to send it.
Well, and isn't that so funny too? Like, it's easier to communicate than ever with whoever you want, especially your friends.
Yeah. But we have this complex now that like
there's like a stigma almost where I shouldn't text this person unless I have a reason to text them, or I plan to text them. It's like back when they were still sending letters, when you were still, all you could do to communicate with your friend that you met or hung out with, like all you could do was send a letter in the mail. That was, you do it at random whenever you think about the person, right? You don't plan to set, you don't have to play like, hey, I'm going to send you this letter to notify you that I'm going to send you another letter. Like, is that okay?
Yeah,
like, do you have time? Right. Like,
do you have time?
Right. Like, it's so easy just to send a text and just say, hey, you don't even have to talk to the person.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you don't, I mean, I guess that's the opportunity to talk to the person, but like, just like you don't have to have like a super long conversation with them, like just a, hey, how you doing?
Hi, Darren. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah. it's just like I don't even know. So like that's something I've been trying to do more lately is just like when I think of somebody, text them even if I haven't spoken to them in like a year, because it's
Yeah.
just like I don't
There's
know.
a reason they popped into your head. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. And like might bring a smile to their face to see something from you or maybe not. Maybe maybe they don't want to hear from you, but worst
maybe they were
case
thinking
scenario.
about you at the exact same time,
Yeah, and worst case
right?
scenario, they don't reply and you know what, that's fine. But most of the time they will because they're probably thinking about you too or wanted to hear from you or something like that, you know?
Right.
You know what they say, like when you think about somebody, they're normally like thinking about you or something. I don't know. There's a whole
Or
thing.
when you have a dream, like I've heard it, like when you have a dream about somebody, it means that they are also dreaming about you at the same time. I don't
Yeah,
know how
that's
true that is, but
neither do I.
I've had experiences where I'd be like, "Yo, I had a dream about you," and they're like, "Dude, that's crazy. I had a dream about you too." And I'm like, "Whoa, dude, that's gnarly."
Yeah, but it's just so easy, like so simple to do things, not only with your friends, but just like people on the street. Like if you like what somebody's wearing, compliment them on it, or
Hey, yo,
you
dude,
like
you got a
somebody's
nice hat.
hair. Yeah, you got a nice
Yeah,
hat. Like your glasses, like um I remember like it really does like stick with people too because like even with me I remember this was like a year ago and I was going to a concert and this girl on the right side of the street when we were walking was like, oh my gosh, your outfit is so cute. And I was like, I didn't think it was like that good, and I was like, thank you. And like I still remember it to this day. So just like with strangers even, like it's so easy to just like lift somebody's day with like a simple compliment or, maybe if you have the money or something to, how those people in the drive-throughs like buy the people behind them food,
yeah.
like just doing little things that like are gonna make somebody's day a little brighter is so
Like
easy.
perfect example of that. Actually, it's funny. Is it was a couple months ago, and I went to Tim Hortons for like coffee and a donut for some reason. I don't
Mm-hmm.
now that's off the wall for me because I don't drink coffee, people.
Yeah.
So I went and I got like a iced. I do drink cold brew every very rarely if I do drink coffee. So I went and I got a cold brew, but I pulled up to the Tim Hortons and the line was wrapped around the building like crazy. And
Yeah.
not only that, there's two different entrances to the Tim Hortons. So I had gone through one entrance and pulled in the line the correct way, and another person had pulled in and at the other entrance and they were like in front of me, but then they would have had to like leave the parking lot and go all the way around to get back in line. And like she was in the process of, backing up to go do that. And I just like waved at her and I'm like, no, just pull right in front of me. Cause like
Yeah.
it's gonna cause more of a hassle for you to back out, right? And like
Yeah.
potentially cause a dangerous situation. But I was just like I'm just getting coffee and a donut. Like I'm not in a hurry. Like go ahead. And so turns out I pull forward. She was so thankful that she bought my coffee and my donuts. Like
Mm-hmm.
she paid for my meal. And told the drive-through person that, to tell me thank you for letting her in. She really
Yeah.
appreciate it, like really appreciate it. And it's just like, it's small. Like you said, it's small thing. Like I'm not saying you have to go out and buy somebody's lunch,
No, not at all. I just
but
like
just
it's
like,
something small you can do if you
yeah, I
have the
was
money or
patient,
like
I was patient and I was like, listen, like I saw that, I don't know. I just felt like that was the right thing to do.
yeah,
I just,
doing things to make other people's life easier. That's another way you can be kind. Just see somebody struggling with some groceries, help them carry them out,
hmm
just doing little things like that. And it's just so easy. So, like, if you're watching this right now, today, I want you guys to all go and do something like kind or helpful, do something to lift somebody else's spirit, like today, whether that's a friend or a stranger you meet on the street, whether that's just complimenting somebody, whether that's sending somebody a text, whether that's
give them a smile,
helping somebody out. Yeah, whether that's just smiling, and go and do it and challenge your other friends to do it and maybe make it a daily thing. I mean, it should be a daily thing. It should be more than a once daily thing. It should be a thing that we are doing constantly, but it is hard sometimes when especially when you're in a bad place to, be a positive energy, but you can do it with time and practice and patience, not only with others but also yourself when you're frustrated, and also just like we said, reevaluating where you're at and like when you're feeling bad, why are you feeling bad, what can you change to make yourself feel better, and just like remember that like other people, when they're mad, it has nothing to do with you. Even if they say it has something to do with you, it normally has nothing to do with you. And yeah, just like, I don't know if you guys have any other tips on like how to be a light in the world, leave them in the comments or send us a message, or we have everything in the description that you guys can go do.
And I do have one thing to leave everybody with. And this is actually something really cool we learned at my work. You always hear the treat others how you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I thought about it, right? Like, treat them how you want to be treated. But this kind of goes back to our very, very first point at the beginning of this, that everybody handles situations differently. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
So at my work, they said, don't treat others how you want to be treated, how you want to be treated. Treat them how they want to be treated. And that, like, I don't know why, but I was like,
yeah, like, mind blown. That's deep.
Mind blown. Because, it's exactly that point. Like, I know how I want to be treated, right? Like, and I know how, I was treating people that way. But again, everybody's different, right? And so treat them how they want to be treated, because it takes the focus. When you say how you want to be treated, you're focusing on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really recognizing that person is another person, right? I know some people, we go throughout our day and we're like, wow, are we just like, everybody a robot around us and we're the only real thing that exists? No, it's like these people are real people and they have ways they want to be treated. So it puts your focus back to them, and it makes you say, well, how do they want to be treated? And it's just a simple little mind trick that makes you feel like closer, I want to say, to another person, even if it's a complete stranger, right? Like, it creates some sort of bond when you can
see things from other people's point of view.
Right. Take the focus away from you to the person you're interacting with, right? So, treat others how they want to be treated, folks.
Yeah, and so just be kind. That's our message today. Be kind, be a light, watch over yourself, watch over others. And as always, you can follow us over on Instagram. It's Overboard X Podcast. That's Overboard, the letter X Podcast. You can also message us. We have a phone number. It's always in the description. And also, be sure to go rate us on Apple if you guys want to help us. It supports us. It helps other people find our podcast. And it's something you can do for us today. So
shares and likes, leave a review. We got to beat the algorithm, folks.
Yeah.
Algorithm.
So have a great day, everybody. And we will see you on our next podcast.
Bye. We'll get to steadier waters eventually.